Caught Stealing, a film directed by Darren Aronofsky and also starring the great Regina King alongside Austin Butler and Zoe Kravitz, among so many other powerful stars, will be premiering this very month. And also Paramount being taken over by Skydance, the leadership of Paramount now, that is David Ellison, together with his board, have unveiled their plans they have for the media giant to the press. And last but not the least, Nosa Rex, a Nigerian actor and producer, has apologized to Ghanaians with regards to the rant about his film being pirated on television. So we'll be talking about all these stories and more right here on the Film Mandate. My name is Papa Otu. Stay tuned. So welcome back to the Film Mandate, where I bring to you movie news, reviews, and reactions, both from the African front and the international scene. And thank you for joining me for this very episode. So we'll be delving into the very first story. And for all you who know or who have been observing the career of this wonderful woman, Regina King has been in the industry for, as long as I can remember. Way back when I was very, very young. And then he's been churning out stellar performances one after the other and all that. And some of the films that she has starred in are very, very powerful. If Bill Street Could Talk, I think that's the very film that she won the award, the Oscar award for. But beyond that, she's been, she's been churning out not just stellar performances, but actually she's also been producing and directing. And I remember watching her film One Night in Miami, and I was blown away by how she was able, in terms of the directing and crafting the entire story and the character dynamics that she was able to bring to bear between, the characters, having, all these stars play off themselves so well, depicting a point in time in our history. So it is really um, exciting to have heard that she's coming, she's starring in a particular movie as well, after having done starred in is it Shelley's. So there is an article that was that captures. So I must apologize. My internet was I had a little technical problem behind here, so pardon me. Yeah. So quick one. Caught Stealing with Regina King. What's the buzz about? So this is a very interesting article that I would like to read. So Oscar-winning Regina King stars in the latest crime thriller Caught Stealing, set to hit theaters on August 29th, 2025. And this is written by Alize Ali Khan. And that's the wonderful, beautiful Regina King in your shot. So Regina King, the renowned Oscar-winning actress, has everyone talking this week about her role in the new movie Caught Stealing, a gritty thriller directed by Darren Aronofsky. The buzz surrounding this film is intense, with King's performance already being hailed as one of her most compelling to date. As one of the headline actors, Regina brings a unique depth to this story set in the criminal underworld of 1990s New York City. Caught Stealing follows the story of Hank Thompson, a burned-out ex-baseball player portrayed by Austin Butler, who finds himself unexpectedly entangled in a dangerous survival game amid New York City's crime scene in the 90s. Regina King plays a key role named Roman, adding powerful presence to this dark narrative filled with twists, suspense, and sharp dialogue. The film is based on the novel by Charlie Huston, who also adapted the screenplay. Huston's writing has been praised for capturing the 1990s New York vibe with brutal honesty and an edgy tone that fits perfectly with Aronofsky's directorial style. This movie marks an exciting collaboration among some of the industry's best talent. Aronofsky's visionary direction, Houston's intense storytelling, and stellar performances by King, Butler, Zoe Kravitz, and others. People across the internet have been searching Regina King caught stealing nonstop as fans eagerly await this release. Social media platforms exploded with trailers, behind the scenes photos, and interviews just released in the last 24 hours, including a notable appearance by Regina King on ABC News, where she talked candidly about her role in the film's intense narrative. Regina King's involvement elevates this film beyond the typical crime drama, known for her versatility and commanding screen presence seen in acclaimed projects like If Beale Street Could Talk and Watchmen. King dives deep into the complex role with her usual finesse. The storyline weaves together dark humor, suspense, and psychological thrills, all enriched by her captivating portrayal. What's also causing a stir online is the authenticity of the film's setting. Director Darren Aronofsky has shared that the story and setting pay homage to his own experiences living in New York during the late 1990s. He describes the East Village as a magnet for eccentrics, which the film fully embraces through its characters and atmosphere. Industry insiders note Caught Stealing is positioned strategically for a late August release to capture audiences craving bold, intense storytelling. Sony Pictures, the film's distributor, reshuffled release dates, pushing other titles out of the way to make room for this movie's debut due to its strong potential. Fans are also excited to see shared scenes featuring Regina King alongside rising stars like Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, with the cast recently making headlines during their promotional appearances in New York City. These encounters have only ratcheted up anticipation. Besides her role in the movie, Regina King remains in the news for various acting projects and is admired for her advocacy work, maintaining her status as one of Hollywood's most respected and influential figures. If you are curious about the film's plot, here's a quick glimpse. Hank Thompson, played by Butler, is a washed-up baseball player who unexpectedly finds himself fighting for survival in a world brimming with crime and betrayal. The film's dark tone mixes gangster elements with psychological drama, resulting in a thrilling experience packed with adrenaline and sharp dialogue, all brought to life through King's and the ensemble's dynamic performances. The cultural setting of Caught Stealing is tight and raw, capturing 1990s New York City's gritty criminal underbelly. This makes it not just a crime thriller, but a layered exploration of survival, loyalty, and desperation set against a vividly recreated historical backdrop. For those who want a sneak peek, the official trailer exhibits electrifying moments and hints at several plot twists. The film's release is highly anticipated by movie lovers and critics alike, with early comments praising the cast's chemistry and Aronofsky's direction. Regina King's portrayal of Roman is already trending online for its powerful intensity, and emotional complexity. Fans and critics alike expect it to be another milestone in her career. For the latest updates and exclusive interviews with Regina King and other stars of Caught Stealing, keep an eye on entertainment platforms and news outlets as the August 29th release date approaches. This film not only cements Regina King's status as one of the most versatile actresses today, but also shines a light on a compelling story that mixes action, drama, and the harsh realities of 1990s New York City crime life, all under the visionary direction of Darren Aronofsky. So that is quite a powerful description of the anticipation of this film. And listen, Darren Aronofsky is one of the most talented directors you can ever watch. I mean, his films. And if you watch films like the Black Swan, starring is it Kira? It's not Kira Knightley. I keep mixing up the names, but that film is a very edgy, dark tone of an underdog who is aspiring to be a ballet dancer and to be the very best indeed. And you know the way he was able to mix the intensity of the performances of the actors together with uh, in-depth psychological makeup of the characters. It's something else. The allegory and metaphors that he sort of includes into the film is amazing. And yes, I think obviously this is perhaps a straightforward kind of film, but I won't be surprised that he will spin something out that would you know delve deep into the psychological, makeup of the characters involved in this particular production. And just as the article has captured, having Regina King on board is another level altogether, not just because of the award, but because of how powerful of an actress she is. You know, I remember watching Watchmen, and Watchmen is a series, superhero series, but the intensity and the depth of performance she brought to that particular series is amazing, and it keeps you hooked on, even though you may assume that it's just another superhero movie. And obviously, the Watchmen comic book story is darker than your usual kind of comic book stories. But whenever she comes aboard any project to act, her performance is compelling. And I remember, for all the films I've watched of her, she's always electric in those performances. Whether she's even playing just a regular role I remember watching her in Big Bang Theory. There is always something about her that when you watch her on screen, she lives the character she embodies is something else. It lives up to you can literally feel the presence of this character in the real world. That is what I mean to say. And she's such a powerful actress that I realize that she adds some level of credibility to whatever project she's part of, elevating whatever project it is that she's engaging. I remember watching a clip where with regards to this particular film, that is a Court Stealing, where she was interrogating Austin Butler's character. And between that short span of time, she came, very intense and very serious, like um, I don't know whether she's a detective or something else, but she was interrogating Austin Butler's character. And just within the span of a moment, she flipped, into a very comic, a comic delivery. I mean, it's not comedy in itself, but then she posed that as one way, and then within the flip of a question from Austin Butler's character, it will switch from just that intensity to something that you best out laughing, and that is how versatile of a character she is. And with the combination of having Darren Aronofsky with her performance, I haven't watched the movie, but I'm not surprised that this article is really hinting at the fact that this may be another milestone in her career. And it's very possible because Aronofsky directed Brendan Fraser to an Oscar award win. That is the best male actor in the movie The Whale. So the combination of these two power stars is something else. And not just that, you have Austin Butler, who himself is an Oscar award winner, Zoe Kravitz, talented actress, talented. You have Matt Smith. I think Matt Smith, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's from the House of the Dragon or so series, and I think he starred in a couple of other films. And I mean, there's a whole lot of roster. You should take a look at the roster of stars, in this particular film, and you will be amazed. So personally, I'm looking forward to it, and I know this film will be good. You know, having the combination of Zoe Kravitz, Austin Butler, and all of this, but particularly Regina King and Darren Aronofsky. Personally, I'm sold on this particular project, and I can't wait for August 29th to come around. I don't know whether, yeah, I think it will be screening in the cinemas, and I don't know whether it will be screened. It has a worldwide theatrical release, but whatever be the case, I'm personally invested in this, and I want to really go and watch it when it finally releases. So let me know what you think about Caught Stealing and the addition or the inclusion of Regina King starring in this particular film alongside Austin Butler and Darren Aronofsky having directed this project. Let me know what you think and your anticipation for it in the comment section down below. So moving on from that to the next story, just about a couple of days ago, Skydance CEO or owner has finally taken over Paramount. And with the takeover of Paramount, they had a meeting quite recently and they met with reporters to unveil the plans they have for the studio in particular. And over the years, it looks like competitive wise, other studios have been performing more or better than how Paramount have been performing. And it looks like help wasn't going to come from anywhere till Skydance took over. And I'm excited about this man's vision for Paramount in the sense that, you know, he started out as a Skydance with a collaboration with Paramount, and he helmed the films, or financed, actually provided, bankrolled the company to make sure that they could do films. And from Mission Impossible films to the Top Gun Maverick, which was a phenomenal hit, together with other films, they finally has taken over. And this is quite interesting to note. So in an article published in the Hollywood Reporter, it says that David Ellison shows off his new throne at Paramount with Top Gun 3, Star Trek, and World War Z called priorities. That is amazing because it's been a long time since we ever heard of World War Z coming up with a sequel. And we've been hearing it for, I think it's been over a decade now, and still there's no been any movement on it. But finally, there's been a confirmation with World War Z, particularly with Brad Pitt. I don't know whether he will reprise his role, but I'm sure and certain that that will be the case. So let's read what they have. And this is written by Pamela McClintock and Aaron Couch. Ellison and his top executives hosted a meet and greet with journalists on the storied Melrose lot Wednesday to further discuss their plans for Paramount's picture and the TV side of the aisle. So that's David Ellison, the son of, is this Sam Ellison? Pardon me, I keep forgetting the names, but yeah. So growing up, David Ellison spent every Sunday going to the movies with his mother and his sister, Annapurna founder Megan Ellison. As an adult, he spent more than 15 years pursuing his wish to run a legacy Hollywood studio, which obviously he's doing now. Now his dream has become a reality, and all eyes are on the young mogul to see if he can write a movie studio that has been all but run into the ground. On Wednesday, Ellison, the ambitious and introspective son of tech billionaire Larry Ellison, showed off his new throne, metaphorically speaking, when hosting a meet and greet for journalists on the storied Melrose lot in Hollywood, home of the newly minted Paramount Skydance. The gathering of he and his C-suite followed a similar event in New York held August 7th, the day the $8 billion merger officially closed. The LA presser focused more on the movie and the TV side, which includes CBS, its cable channels, and Paramount Plus. At the event, Ellison called Top Gun 3, the sequel to the $1.5 billion grosser Top Gun Maverick a top priority at the studio and said he would be in the Tom Cruise business as long as the A-list star, with whom he has made 10 films in Ellison's former life at Skydance, wanted to tell stories with him. One of our biggest priorities is restoring Paramount as the #1 destination for the most talented artists and filmmakers in the world, Ellison said. Great filmmakers make great movies. Ellison, who said he intends to make movies exclusively for theaters, now has full control over a number of film franchises he already worked on at Skydance. Many of them have been dormant on the big screen for years, Star Trek, G.I. Joe, or have had trouble finding their footing in recent years, Terminator and Transformers. Co-film chief Josh Greenstein said these franchises would be a priority, noting that the company hopes to release 15 films a year and then up that to 20. He name-checked Star Trek and Transformers, with a surprise being World War Z, the 2013 Brad Pitt zombie feature. He also indicated an interest in both horror, that is, Paramount is home to A Quiet Place and Smile, as well as R-rated comedies. But he noted that originals were also a priority, pointing to the first green light under the new regime, the Timothy Chalamet and James Mangold project High Side. Star Trek, which has not been in theaters since 2016, has largely been overseen by Alex Kurtzman, with a lengthy list of Paramount Plus series. Executives said that Trek would be looked at holistically rather than siloed off between different parts of the company, such as film and TV. Where we are going to make sure those conversations are happening together so that we can do what's best for the brand as a whole, said film co-chief Dana Goldberg. On the Paramount Plus side, Ellison acknowledged the uber importance of Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan for the health of the streaming service. He is literally a singular genius with a perfect track record, said Ellison. If we can make this his home as long as he wants to tell stories, we want to do that. Newly tabbed Paramount Plus chief and former Netflix executive Cindy Holland, speaking publicly for the first time about her intentions, didn't mince words when later backed up Ellison's focus on making films for theatricals versus the small screen, since they have different roles. Streaming movies are not a priority for me, said Holland, who played a key role in Netflix's ascent to power when serving as EVP of scripted at Netflix, bringing in such marquee series as The Crown and Orange is the New Black, among other projects. We want to entertain all audiences around the world on Paramount Plus, said Holland. And for that to happen, the menu of content has to be expanded beyond current options. We are seeking to expand that and make sure that we are offering programming for everybody, not just occasionally and not just for the one thing they want to come back for. When asked if Ellison would give her the content budget she needs, she responded with a quick yes. So, I mean, there's a lot in this article. And personally, I'm excited about this because one of the things that I've always don't want to happen is to have one of this legacy studio collapse entirely. And I'm happy that Paramount have been rescued by Skydance, and the idea of bringing together the best of minds to ensure that the ship of Paramount is steered right is exciting. And I think David Ellison, coming from quote unquote an indie film company, which is Skydance, and became a force to reckon with in the industry, and finally has taken over Paramount, is actually an interesting step that he has taken, in the sense that he has paid his dues and worked to know and understand the industry very well before finally being the head of a legacy studio as Paramount. And companies like Paramount is a behemoth of a company. It is an industry on itself, if I should put it that way, because they don't just control franchises and IP, but they help shape the narrative of film industries worldwide. And that is quite an interesting challenge that he has taken upon himself. And if you even listen to, I think one of the companies that owns 20% of the shares in, stake in Paramount, the head said that he is very confident in Ellison's leadership to steer the ship right. And even the individual offered two of his own executives to be part of his team to ensure that they run it right. So it is quite an interesting takeover that he has taken. But what excites me is the fact that he's bringing on properties and creatives to ensure that they make the necessary, box office revenue to keep the company going. And the interesting thing I discovered when you read other articles, he did say that they are not in for just the quarterly reviews to know whether they are doing well with the business and growing the bottom line for the shares or the shareholders. And yes, I'm sure that is what they have in mind as well. But the long haul or the long plan they have in mind is to really build it to become a formidable business, and not just a formidable business in the film or audiovisual industry, but also a tech business. So it is quite interesting. Prior to him taking over, he did make the public understand that it is not just about entertainment, but also the technology that will drive the entertainment to ensure that it becomes a potent force to reckon with. And with his father backing him, Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, and such deep pockets, they are sure to achieve this. I don't know how long that will take, but they are sure to achieve this. If you check the number of investments he's making at the moment, first and foremost, buying or merging over with Paramount with the tune of over $8 billion. And not just that, but for the next foreseeable 7 years, he sort of licensed the UFC tournament to be streamed on Paramount Plus exclusively. And they are shelling about over $7 billion within that period to ensure that, those who like the fights, the UFC fights, are entertained on the Paramount platform, streaming service. So he has a lot of plans that he's unveiling. And one of the things he also said is that immediately he took over on the 7th of August, he called Tom Cruise to thank him for being a main staple, creative in the Paramount family, and he's willing to work with him. Just as the article said, he is willing to push to ensure that Tom Cruise stays with him. And I do understand, because it is of paramount importance, not, no pun intended, but it is of paramount importance that you get the best of film creatives to be in part of your team, particularly if you're a legacy studio like Paramount, because it is these same creatives who would end up creating properties that would help boost the revenue of these studios. And without having that would ruin everything. We all saw what happened when Christopher Nolan moved from Warner Brothers to Universal, if I'm not mistaken, to make Universal his home, because he wasn't happy with the day and date release that I think the leadership at the time during the AT&T era created, or is it? Yeah, AT&T era created, that he was so unhappy with that. So as a result of that, he moved away from Warner Brothers, and that was something that David Zaslav was fighting eagerly to bring him back, but it didn't work out. So I'm sure David Ellison has learned a lot from all these things that have been happening in the industry. Over not just from his side of the industry, but from others, to ensure that he doesn't repeat such mistakes. And from what he is talking about, he means business. You could tell from the fact that he did mention Star Trek. Star Trek has never really been the main competitor of Star Wars that it ought should be, or any other major IP franchise. And his emphasis on that even shows that he means business with this and wants to make sure that it becomes a formidable IP. And looking at some of the IPs they have, it is quite outstanding. Terminator is with them, Transformers, and even recently you had Michael Bay talking about wanting to reboot the entire uh, Transformers IP with a new project that he's working on. So he is bent on making sure that he puts the very best projects out there with the very best filmmakers. And I think he means business. He means business, and he has successfully been able to shepherd Mission Impossible and Top Gun Maverick to rousing success. So obviously, it looks like Paramount is in good hands, and with him surrounding himself with the best of people, and I'm sure his father will also be counseling him on the technological side. I think Paramount has a winner and on their hands. So it is quite interesting, and I'm excited to see what they will do. I'm excited because I want all film studios to be doing well. I'm excited because they've been entertaining us for years, and Paramount has been in existence for over 100 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't want these legacy studios to fail, because when they succeed, we all learn a thing or two. We are all entertained by it, and I'm excited. Personally, I've decided that I'll be following the career of Ellison to know how he's able to manage all these things, from afar. Definitely, I can't be privy to whatever they'll be discussing during the, corridor, during their private sessions. But I think he's making the right choices. And for what he was able to do with Skydance successfully, it means that he knows what he's about, and definitely he knows how he's going to turn Paramount into the once profitable venture that it used to be. So let me know what you think about Ellison taking over Paramount, the leadership of Paramount and the plans that they have unveiled, from the UFCs to the Top Gun Maverick, even making World War Z, a 13-year-old film, the sequel to it, a priority. That is quite interesting. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And moving on from Hollywood, we come back to Africa. And to be specific, Nigeria and Ghana. For those who have been following the two countries, my country Ghana and Nigeria, we've always had this hate and love affair, where we compete almost in every other field, from jollof to football, music, and other aspects of our lives. But of late, there's been the rising challenge of piracy on Ghanaian television. And even just yesterday, I did report on piracy, where one prominent entertainment pundit, Ashes, spoke about the challenge we face in Ghana, and the fact that we need to own up and be responsible for the fact that we have caused it to become so. That is the forebearers of the film industry didn't put enough measures in place to tackle this challenge. And even those who continued afterwards also didn't pay attention to the challenge of piracy. And he also spoke about the infightings that we've been having. However, there was a Nigerian actor and producer who, having discovered that his film was shown on Ghanaian television, did, rant bitterly, but also did hail some insults to the citizens of Ghana. And he actually has retracted and apologized, and did say that he didn't mean it that way. So I would like to read the article and see what he meant. So on the Ghana website, NOSA Rex apologizes to Ghanaians over movie piracy outburst. So following Rex's scathing outburst at Ghanaians over claims of piracy involving his movie, the Nollywood filmmaker has returned to social media to apologize and clarify that his words were not intended to insult the people of Ghana. On August 12, 2025, NOSA posted a video on his social media pages venting over what he claimed was an illegal broadcast of his movie, Prince of Peace, by a TV channel in Ghana. In the video, he called the people of Ghana stupid and said Ghana's entertainment industry would continue to decline because of piracy. The filmmaker's comments went viral and became topic for discussion in some entertainment shows in Ghana, provoking reactions from many entertainment personalities such as Nana Poku Ashes, MC Portfolio, and Ghanaians in general who felt disrespected. After the reactions from Ghanaians, NOSA Rex shared another video on his social media page on August 13th, 2025 to clarify the comments he made and apologize. He explained that his harsh words were not aimed at the people of Ghana as a whole, but specifically at the television channels involved in piracy. I see that so many people are misinterpreting and misunderstanding the video. The insult in that video was directed to the TV stations. I mean, why would I insult the entire Ghana? It doesn't even make sense. I'm looking forward to come and see you people. You know what that means, he said. NOSA noted that his anger came from a place of frustration over the piracy issue. He argued that when someone's creative work is taken and used without permission, it shows a lack of respect for talent and hard work. I mean that I'm fighting for right now will not make sense right now until later. Imagine that a particular people are taking your creativity for free. It means that they don't value creativity. They don't value talent, and even you guys in Ghana, this might even affect you guys later. If you don't speak out right now, if you don't speak out right now, I know what I'm saying. Right now, it seems like I'm the bad person, maybe because of the way I said it. I just want to say, shout out to my fans, he added. The Nollywood filmmaker insisted that it is not in his character to insult or disrespect people, and that his passion sometimes makes it sound harsher than intended. I mean, no disrespect. It's not in my nature to disrespect anybody. For those of you who don't know me, even the ones that pretend that you don't know me, it's okay. I just want to say I love you all. I will not disrespect everybody. If you are in Ghana, don't speak out for us. How is it gonna happen? I'm not even sure as to how the phrasing is. But anyway, you understand. But as they do us, they will do you guys, the creative one in Ghana. So speak out, fight for this. Let them stop it. It's not in my nature to disrespect people. I'm sorry. I love you guys so much. No disrespect intended. Okay, so that is quite interesting. And it is interesting because when you watch the video, he really came out so harsh and in some sense very disrespectful to Ghanaians. But I applaud him for also coming back to apologize. And I think in general, Ghanaians have been trying to deal with this piracy, not today. Maybe we don't go online to rant as to how quite recent time you had Zandi, I hope I had the name right, Zandi Kamel, ranting about it. They've been talking, but for some reason, some of the TV station owners have proven very difficult to deal with. I don't know whether because they have the support of some people in power and that's why they behave that way, or whether they think, let me put it this way. I think our industry for a long time is taken as a joke, and it is not given the necessary respect it deserved even from way back. I think the golden era of our film industry perhaps existed in the early times when the industry itself began. I would say maybe in the 60s, prior to the 60s, thereabout. Because there happened to be a time when there wasn't even films coming out of the industry completely. And maybe it had to do with certain socio-political issues. But beyond that, generally our film industry have not been respected. Maybe it is as a result of the stakeholders involved, but the issue of piracy, individuals, stakeholders in the industry have taken steps to make that happen. The NFA did speak about it when the issue of one Nigerian actress spoke about the issue of piracy, and they've even taken the steps to, I think, collaborate with the NCA or all the necessary stakeholders involved to curb this issue. And it is quite a challenge. And I believe that the NFA is working on it and all the necessary parties are working on it, because in recent times, I think just last month, Zandi took the right step and it worked. And I believe that perhaps till the government produces or has puts in place a machinery that can automatically check some of these issues and deal with it, even without the involvement of the artisans, individuals whose films are being shown on TV should perhaps take the initiative that Zandi took together with Secret Safo to call the TV stations, those responsible to book to book. And I think with what she did, it maybe if we didn't know prior, now it opened our eyes to see that, so this can be done to help stop what is happening. So I think together as creative people, not just the Ghanaian filmmakers or entertainers, but together with the Nigerian entertainers, we are literally siblings. So we need to collaborate together and work together. And I think even in Ghana, there is the Nollywood chapter president here in Ghana. So I think together with the Nigerians back home, the Nigerian filmmakers back home, we can all work together and together with the NFA and the Copyright Society to ensure that this stops, because it's a bigger problem. Ghanaian filmmakers have been doing their best to stop this from happening, but it looks like a lot of these TV station owners just don't care, because for some reason they think they can get away with it, and some of them have been getting away with it for quite a long while. So it is a challenge that has existed for a long time, and I'm glad that yes, these conversations are coming up, but I think we can do it respectfully. And I understand the frustration of people or filmmakers who are ranting about these things, because to spend your hard-earned money to shoot a project to release it on your social media platform, and in the same weeks or even hours, someone downloads it and shows it on television, is really heartbreaking. It's disheartening, because your sweat, people shouldn't take your sweat for granted. And the way social media works, just as I was explaining yesterday, it is only when people get to watch the film on that content creator's platform will they be rewarded with revenue. Without that, revenue won't come to them. So I, for one, believe that what the TV stations are doing is completely wrong. And I think that there could be ways of negotiating. If you think you want to show this content on television, negotiate with the content creators and go in the form of a barter, barter with them. You could give them airtime if you think you don't have the money to pay them. But you can give them airtime and in exchange for their content to show it a number of times, that is, that they would agree upon. But to show someone's content on television without their permission, it is wrong. It is completely wrong, because you are using it to also make money on your television, because the very moment you show it on your television, it also attracts advertisers, and advertisers would want to look at how many people are watching your TV, your television in order to be able to bring business to you. So without the necessary, without you having good quality content on your television stations, you won't be getting advertisers. And in that case, you are robbing these content creators, for making their money, whilst you are using it to make your own money. So in that regard, it's completely wrong. But I keep saying, if we don't build our industry together, even the television stations will be affected, because we always talk about Hollywood and Bollywood, and they all have very vibrant film industries. And we talk about how successful their film industries are, and there have been so many ancillary businesses or even content created around it. I mean, box office showdowns, uh, entertainment reviews or interviews of some of these big name stars and all those things. That, as a matter of fact, goes a long way to even still bring revenue to the TV stations. I'm speaking from experience because I've worked at a TV station before, and it's quite challenging. But what I also know is that it's a quid pro quo thing, where if you don't even have the content to show, you can always negotiate. And I remember at the time I was working at a TV station, we did that. We negotiated with some of these filmmakers who brought their films in exchange for airtime, because we couldn't afford to pay them. And I think that should be the way of some of these TV stations. If you feel like you need to show the films and you don't have the money, always negotiate. But then we also have to, I'm hoping that NFA and the necessary authorities will put a monitoring system to ensure that, or when someone's content is being shown on television, the television stations need to actually provide the necessary license they have from the IP holders to prove that they have the rights to show it. Otherwise, they have to be held accountable, perhaps be fined. And with this fine, part of the fine can go back to the content creator, and a little bit can also be in the coffers to keep on the job of monitoring these wrongs that are being done in the system. Because I like what Zandi did, and as a matter of fact, when she embarked on it, the TV station, I think, manager was arrested, and I'm sure was questioned. I've not really heard about it since what transpired afterwards. But I think if the owners of if the managers of TV stations who are not listening are still being very stubborn, perhaps this is the only way to deal with them. But I'm hoping that there will come a time when NFA and all the necessary bodies will be more than empowered to get this done. Because I know it's difficult, because there are so many TV stations that to even monitor all of them, it is almost impossible. Almost impossible. Not just terrestrial TV stations, but digital satellite TV stations. It is literally impossible sometimes, looking at the scope that you have to deal with, meaning that you need a lot of all the necessary tools to make that happen. So one way or the other, I think as well, we may have to collaborate in terms of the filmmakers. If you are putting something online, maybe there should be a way where you can send a link to NFA or the Copyright Society so that we know. I mean, I don't know how that's going to be possible, but whichever country you find yourself in, there should be records of some of your production you are putting out there. If not through the rating, the censorship board, it could be through the film authority itself or Copyright Society, so that once all these things are properly documented, there could be an app that can be developed that whenever something screens on any television station, it will indicate that it's being screened on a particular station or online, so that with that information or data received, it can be cross-checked to see whether that TV station have the requisite permission to air it, or if not, they are prosecuted. So there's a lot that we have to do. I know how to deal with it is quite complex, and I don't know whether we can solve it. But the little we can do, we should all contribute. I like the example of Zandi taking the initiative to have the TV station reported. She resorted to seek the legal advice first, and when the station refused, she brought in, Secret Safo, who actually works with most of these film authorities to ensure that the TV station manager is brought to book. So we all have to help in making sure that piracy on television station can be dealt with. I don't think NFA can do it alone. Neither do I think the filmmakers too can do it alone. Or so we all have to come together and work to ensure that this stops. Because I agree to a statement that I said that as it's being done to them, it's also going to be done to us. And it's already happening. It's not like it's about to happen. It's already happened. Zandi is a Ghanaian. She went to Nigeria to shoot a project, brought it here, put it on YouTube, on I think YouTube or Facebook, and the next moment the TV station had downloaded it and was airing it. So it's already happening. It's already happening, and it is not good. We want to stop it, but we have to find, maybe there need to be a platform where we can all dialogue and bring out certain measures to make that happen. Even perhaps this dialogue has to even involve all the stations, the TV stations in Ghana, so that they can come to an agreement that if you want to download a film, contact NFA, find out what you can do to get the necessary permission to air it. Otherwise, you'll be held accountable. So there's a lot that is at stake here. I honestly believe that it is costing the industry a lot, and a lot of filmmakers are losing money. And I don't want to. It's hard to see filmmakers who were big in their heydays die, or towards the end of their life have nothing to speak of. And at least, fortunately for us, in this generation, we have platforms like social media where we can leverage to make money for ourselves. But back then, they didn't even have it. It was only television stations, and if they don't, and even if they show it, how many TV stations can actually afford to pay you enough, the producer, to trickle down to actors and other crew members? So it is really a big problem that we have to deal with. And I like what Ashes said. We created it ourselves. So if it means that we created it ourselves, then it means that we are supposed to own up and also deal with the problems ourselves. And we need to take a stand now. Otherwise, we'll be losing this fight altogether. We'll be losing this fight altogether. So it's unfortunate, but that is what is happening now. So let me know what you think with regards to this piracy issue that is happening to, blatantly being aired on television screens, the content or films of filmmakers being aired on television screens in Ghana, and what you think can be done to resolve this issue. So all too soon, this wraps up my 3 stories for, pardon me, for the day. Yeah, but since it's a Friday, I will not leave you to go without telling you some of the films that are airing over, in the cinemas this weekend. And starting with Silverbird in Ghana, let's look at some of the films they will be showing today, Friday to Sunday. So Nobody 2 is airing actually today, and it's an action comedy. If you've watched the one, I'm sure you'll be anticipating the 2. And this it stars Bob Odenkirk, who happened to be in the Better Call Saul series. And you also have War 2, which is a Hindi movie from India, an action adventure, also airing today or premiering today. Coolie is also showing today. And then Revelations from Nigeria, Nollywood, is also showing today, starring RMD himself. That will be a nice film to watch. So it's also going to be showing today in, look at him in his cowboy hat, one of the most talented actors, in the world. One of the most talented actors in the world, I must say. And also you have Freakier Friday, which is which aired actually last week, and Weapons as well. And there are several films also in the cinemas that are showing. And one film that perhaps we should always be expectant of is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, which is an anime that is making big waves in Japan. Making big waves in Japan. So I'll leave the link in the description below to check out the list of films that are airing or are yet to air so that you can watch it. And the film that I spoke about today called Stealing, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, and Regina King, would also be premiering on August 29th. So there are so many films that will be premiering. We also have The Serpent's Gift, a Nollywood, I think it's a Nollywood film that would also be premiering the same day as Caught Stealing. So you can go to the Silver Bed and check any of these films out. So let's check out which films are also going to premiere worldwide or internationally. So we go to the Rotten Tomatoes website, and here, as usual, there'll be UFC fights actually, premiering in some of the theaters, and it has become a main staple now. And Main Street Memories, I don't know what that film is, but it will open tomorrow actually. Nobody, as usual, is in the international scene as well, Americana. And Denzel Washington's film, Highest to Lowest, his fifth collaboration with Spike Lee, would also be premiering today worldwide. You have Witchboard, you have Night Always Comes, East of Walt, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and a whole lot will be either premiering or re-releasing today. So I'll leave this link as well in the description for you to check it out if you want to check any of them that you think would interest you to watch. So also soon I come to the end of this episode, and thank you so much for joining me for this particular episode, and I'll be coming your way again on Monday with another exciting stories from over the weekend. So also soon, this has been the Film Mandate, and I'm Papa Otu. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.